Hey, got a couple more examples of x-intercepts with vertex form. Again, I'm just going to graph it real quick. You don't have to do this, but 2 to the right and down 6. I'm trying to train your brain to look for this stuff. So the vertex is 2 comma negative 6, and it's opening up really fast because it's a 3. All right. Plug in 0 for y, and we're solving for this parenthesis thing. All right, so it's kind of like we're solving 3x minus 6. It's kind of like that, where we have to plus 6 on both sides first. So this will be a 6 and a 3x minus 2 squared. All right, and then after we would plus 6, we would divide by 3. And that's what we got to do here. So we want this by itself, but to do that, we got to get rid of that 3. And that 3 is connected to the parentheses by multiplication. So we're going to divide to get rid of it. 3's cancel. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And we just get this x minus 2 squared business here. All right, we're going to square root both sides. Okay, so square root. Now this is going to be nasty. We could do this as a decimal, or we could leave it as the square root. I mean, you could do that right now, but either way, it's going to be plus or minus. Now, I like leaving it as the square root, I guess because that makes sense to me, but this is what they call the exact answer. If you made it into a decimal, like square root of 2 on your calculator, that would just be an approximation. All right, so this is going to be plus or minus root 2 is equal to x minus 2, because the square and the square root cancels. And then we're going to plus 2 on both sides now. So plus 2, and you can't add a 2 to a square root. So this is just going to be a 2 plus or minus root 2 is equal to x. All right, so these are the exact answers. Now here, I'm going to go ahead and find their decimal form. So I got to do this 2 times. I got to do 2 plus square root of 2. That's one of my answers. And I also have to do 2 minus square root of 2. That's the other answer. Okay. So this is like 0.5857, and this is the 3.41. Okay. So it's up to you how you want to do the decimal answers. I think whenever I have you do the homework, I'm going to make you round your answers to like 2 decimal places or something like that. Okay, here's a trickier one. I'm going to graph it real fast. So left 4, so this is negative 4, and down 1, so right there. And this 16 is a positive, so this is going to open up super, super skinny, more skinny than you can probably imagine. Actually, I have a guest, so give me a second. I'm going to pause this. All right. Now we left off somewhere. Sorry, I had a zoom for a second. I don't know where we left off. I think I was going to graph it on Desmos, but I'm just going to go ahead and solve it for you, these x-intercepts. So 0 for y. We're going to plus 1 on both sides. Squared. We got to get rid of the 16, so we're going to divide by 16. So this is going to be weird. We're going to have 1 over 16 is equal to x plus 4 squared. All right, and I left it as a fraction. You'll see why, because this is actually kind of a special case. When we square root both sides, this will actually behave kind of nicely. See, square root of 1/16, that's actually the same as square root of 1 over the square root of 16. And then these will actually simplify nicely. This will just become square root of 1 is 1, and square root of 16 is 4. So this thing is going to become plus or minus 1/4 for us. Okay. Equals, of course, the squares and the square roots cancel each other. Okay, minus 4. Minus 4. And see here, there's no square roots, so we actually can combine these this time. So I'm just going to leave it as negative 4 plus or minus 1/4. All right, equals x. So these are our two answers here, the plus version and minus version. I guess let's go ahead and make them into a decimal over here. So I got negative 4 plus 1/4, 1 divided by 4, I guess. That way it's going to answer it as a decimal. If I had done the actual, alpha y equals and made it a fraction, it would have answered as a fraction over here too, improper fraction. The other one is negative 4 minus 1/4. There we go. So those are our two answers here. Negative 3.75 and negative 4.25. And see, these two numbers are super close to each other. That's why our x-intercepts are like that too. Super close to each other.